Here we are to discuss that first innings. My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. Now, the venue is not too far away from one of the top Formula One tracks in the world, and it goes all the way around. It's very circuitous, and it seems over the last 20 overs that so much happened, but we ended up at a score that perhaps looks like it could be around par or maybe just below, but it took quite a route to get there. Let's remind you where Rajasthan have finished. Remember, they've won the toss, decided to bat first, lost 3 early wickets. They lost Steve Smith, Josh Butler, Sanju Samson. It was a completely different star cast that came to the party, led by Mahipal Lomror, 47 of 39. And then, of course, Tewatia did his standard procedure towards the end of the innings. Joy Bhattacharjya, Simon Doull with me in the studio. First up, gentlemen, Simon, how do you rate that score in isolation?
I'm pleased I'm not in isolation anymore, which is a good thing. But no, the score itself is, look, it's middling. I think if you asked Rajasthan at the 10 over mark, they'd have probably taken 150, 155. It looks to me like it's 15 to 20 light, looking at the surface itself. But, they've got something to bowl at now. And that's what we said at the Cricbuzz Combox in the halfway stage. Just give your bowlers something to bowl at. See if with early wickets they can put the opposition under pressure. And you never know in this contest. You just never know. And Archer has a great spell up front. Perhaps there's some spin in the middle. Tewatia, who knows? But they've got the runs on the board. And now it's up to Bangalore to chase them down.
Joy, more than any of us, I think you were the one who expressed the most delight at what happened last night. It's pretty much the same story all over again, isn't it, with the young Indian players?
No, absolutely. I think Mahipal Lomror has got his chance. It's very interesting. I was reading a little bit about him. And he and Rishabh Pant were very thick together. And they were both played Rajasthan under 14, under 16 together. Rishabh went to Delhi and he in a very famous statement by Vinod Kambli said, that I took the stairs while, Sachin Tendulkar took the lift. So Rishabh Pant has taken the lift, but this kid, Mahipal Lomror, has talent. They call him Mini Gale because he can really hit the ball hard. And I think he played a controlled innings out there. He did pretty well for himself. You would have hoped he could have gone slight bit earlier than he did, but I think he did fantastically. I mean, he was a large part of why they are at 154 right now.
Simon, coming back to you, and one of the aspects we discussed at the very start was the death bowling. Now, today was an opportunity, just like we said, for the youngsters, for the death bowlers from Bangalore to tell themselves, listen, we've got rid of the cream. Let's bowl at Mahipal Lomror, Riyan Parag, Rahul Tewatia, and let's get our act together. Now, I don't really see a huge improvement despite them bowling to those players.
No, it didn't seem like the plans were there in place, and particularly to Tewatia at the back end. It looks very one-dimensional as a boundary hitter. I think he's a better player than that, but when he's hitting boundaries, he looks one-dimensional, leg side, get across to off, and go that way. So you can set quite a strong offside field if you want and make him walk across the stumps. Just bowl full and wide. He doesn't seem like he wants to hit the ball to mid-off, cover, extra cover, backward point. You can set a field accordingly. And if he wants to take those risks, then good luck to him. But as Sheldon Cottrell found out, you cannot give him the length. And, Navdeep Saini a couple of times gave him length as well. So there's still work to do, I think, at the back end of the bowling innings from a Bangalore point of view.
Also, I think there's a bit of work to be done for the men in pink at the top end of their batting. Remember, they started this tournament. They announced themselves as the guys who are going to put big scores on the board, unlike, say, a Hyderabad. But it seems to have kind of gone downhill from there with the top 4 not really firing, Simon.
Yeah, absolutely. They struggled again tonight, and we highlighted Sanju Samson, and that was something that we've highlighted in past. Starts the tournament well, fades away. We hope this is not the start of the fade. Let's hope that he finds that form again. Steve Smith's shot 2 nights ago, in the previous encounter, just started a bit of a rut, and to me that set the tone in that game. Tonight there was some good bowling, good fielding, and perhaps a little bit of indifferent batting as well. So they need to sort that top order out, because they, without the real power through the middle, are the crux of this batting lineup.
Now, we showed you an interesting stat. Arun had sent us a bit of a number in the previous game, and it's sort of added to it. Wickets falling off the first ball of an over. And that sometimes can be a bit about mindset. Have a look at that. In the last 2 games, you had 4 occasions and top 4, and here again you had 4 different players falling off the first ball of an over, Joy.
Yeah, look, I think one of the things today it's very clear. What's happening is that you have a situation where Robin Uthappa is, and once he's getting stuck, he can't seem to be forcing. It's important that he does.
Yes, Simon, let me come to you on that. We'll just try and sort this out from Joy for the moment. I think for him, he was facing the first ball of the over as well. We'll let him get into the over. So, Simon, you get the first ball this time. Don't get out.
Yeah, look, it's when you're facing the first ball, you're trying to set the tone for the over. Now, I do understand that some sides in the past, even in one-day internationals, sides have looked to say, okay, let's pick up a boundary, first or second ball, take a risk, put the bowler under pressure. This is happening far too often now, isn't it, though, from a Rajasthan point of view? And it's something that they need to address. Losing a wicket first ball of the over, never nice. You give the bowler a great start to his over, and you're kind of putting yourselves under pressure as well. So if they can just, it's a little bit of a pattern, which I think is a pattern that they don't want.
Simon, it's probably just the opposite. When a batsman comes and hits the boundary of the very first ball, be it a 4 or a 6, you set the tone for the over and the bowler's under pressure. Here, the bowler's actually been buoyed by that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly why you try and do it. So I can understand that wickets will fall on the first ball of an over, because as a batting unit, you probably are trying to put the bowler under pressure. When it does happen, though, the bowler sort of feels like, well, I'm in the over. Got a new batsman to bowl at. I can attack a little bit more. He's not going to take risks. So therefore, the bowling unit feels slightly more comfortable.
And to use one example, Joy, Robin Uthappa, there may be a little bit more to just that first ball dismissal of an over.
No, I think firstly that he's having this trouble because he's getting himself really badly bogged down. He's got 42 odd runs. In 42 balls, he's got 33 runs. And he's struggling. He's clearly struggling. He's not able to get it off the park. Now, what happens is, start of an overs, you suddenly are looking at the scoring, you're looking at the run rate and saying, I've got to do something about it. He's trying to force the pace. Now, here's a problem. What's the biggest problem? The biggest problem is he's a straight hitter. Okay, the ball that he actually hit, which was straight down long off's throat, he actually pulled it. It was wide. He could have gone over cover. He could have gone that way. But his tendency is to hit straight. So what's happening is he's actually much more useful again in those, when we go back to that original point, in those first 2, 3, 4 overs, because he hits those straight balls. He doesn't like hitting it over cover. That's not his natural shot. So he's playing out of position. But also, if he's playing out of position, not getting there at all, Simon, he's got to do something about that.
Yeah, those numbers, Joy, when Adipu sent some numbers through to us as well during that innings of Robin Uthappa since 2017 batting at number 4 and below. He hadn't made it to double figures. He had not made it to double figures. Today was the first time he's made it to double figures since 2017 if he's batted at number 4 or lower in the order. So clearly, if you're a coach or any sort of statistician involved with the Rajasthan team, you know that. So you've got rocks in your head if you're going to bat Robbie lower than 1 or 2. I just don't get it. Either don't pick him or play him at the top.
Yeah, it's something that for them to sort out. But looking at the opposition, when you look at the score under 160, yes, they didn't finish well, but they had to have done something well. And certainly the way they started, Navdeep Saini in particular, there'll be positive signs for Virat Kohli when he looks at his bowling. At the end, yes, Surudana went for a few because of what happened with Tewatia. But look at Sundar, Saini, Chahal, of course, outstanding.
Look, I think the spinners are doing the job for them. I think the spinners are really doing the job for them. There is not a problem out there. You can play with these spinners. They're all doing excellently. The problem here is, again, the fast bowling. It's Udana and Saini. And Saini is starting well and finishing badly. With Udana, I think there's a separate problem. The problem is Udana was known as this bowler who bowled brilliant slower balls. Okay. Now the problem is people are playing him default for the slower ball. They're not playing him for the faster delivery. So somewhere as a bowler, he's lost about 50% of his efficiency. And therefore, he's just not the bowler he was even a couple of seasons ago. He was a surprise weapon who is no longer a surprise. And that's the problem.
The slower ball's not effective unless the quick ball's effective.
Exactly.
It's a very, very simple operation. If your quick ball's effective at 135 to 140, that's great. If your slower ball is completely different at maybe 110, 115, and it's coming every now and then, not on a regular basis, it is effective. But basically, he's lost the art to bowl relatively quick, and then the slower ball is just ineffective at the moment.
Yeah, that's something for him to address, something for Virat Kohli to look at. But for the moment, he'll be focusing on himself, of course, to get some form. But he'll be at least a little relieved by the fact that those who come before him, i.e. Messrs. Finch and Padikkal, have really given them good starts. He'll want another one from them today.
Yeah, he will. I mean, you just want to see the sort of continued rise of Devdutt Padikkal, don't you? I mean, that catch in the slips, we talked about how brilliant that was. He's gaining in confidence all the time. Now, he's not going to continue to score runs every game, but you just want to see him grow. He's got a great ally at the other end and a vastly experienced international player, an international captain. They get RCB off to a good start, and then allows Kohli just to bat under a little less pressure, I think. And look, he's going to come right. He's quality, class. He'll be fine. And then you've got AB and Shivam Dubey. You've still got plenty of batting through that middle order and even the lower order when you get down to Washington Sundar.
Joy, when you look at a total like this as they're about to walk out, 120, 130, pretty much fixed how you're going to approach it. 190, 200, unless you're Chennai, you know you're going to go hard up front to start with, come what may. How do you approach a total like this?
This is actually very true. I completely agree. Sitting in those dressing rooms, these were what we call tactical totals. You don't know. This is when actually those so-called strategy actually makes sense. Where the guys go out and say, okay, we're going to go for 25 in the next 3. You're going to go for it. I'm going to take it. This is where it actually works. Other than that, I think it's going to be a very interesting chase. Of course, something could happen. In the first 4 overs, they could go and get 40 and then, they could just cruise after that, or they could lose 3 quick wickets, then get bogged down in the middle. But if it doesn't happen, if nothing clearly goes one way for the team, these are fun chases to watch because they're tactical chases.
What it also means is the 3 of us have a little tactical time out here because remember, the My 11 Circle badge of honor is still up for grabs. It was one big 6 away, one big Jofra Archer 6 away to going to Joy. He didn't get it. So we have one more chance at it, which means power play score for the chasing side. Joy, I'll let you go first since you were closest.
61. I'm going to go high.
61. Well, I wonder if that's the approach that they're going to take. Simon, you want to go second?
I am going to go 47.
61, 47. I'm going to go. Should I go somewhere in between or let me go a little lower? I'm going to go even lower. I'm going to go 40. 40. Steady start, 40, just to give something for Virat Kohli to come and accelerate on. I have desperate measures. When you're doing as badly as I am, it's got to be desperate measures. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Simon. We'll see you both soon. Of course, 10th over will be very critical to see where Bangalore are in this particular run chase. Should be an exciting game. First part of the Saturday doubleheader. And we will bring everything to you in Cricbuzz Combox and then wrap it all up on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. See you soon.